going to be facing our lions or challenges of the week. What did you face this week that was challenging to you?
Well, hey, it's Friday. Welcome to Facing the Lion podcast. When we're finally at the end of the week, all it means is that we have conquered something. We now know about facing the lions and what that means, and so therefore we carry out from all that we've gathered this week. And so I ask you, what challenges are you facing? Or have you faced? Good morning to my co-host Trish. I can see you. And waiting for you to call in. Thank you for putting in our time. When we're here, we are always live. Unless otherwise. So we're here today. We're waiting for you to call in or come in to my co-host. There you are. As we greet our Vibe Talk group. Good morning, Trish.
Good morning.
What are you thankful for and why?
I'm thankful for a new day.
Thank you. Why are you thankful for a new day?
Because a new day it's a second chance for me to do something I didn't do yesterday or to do better.
New opportunities. I love it. Thank you so much. I'm so thankful for hearing from the people that have been here. Yesterday, I received such a message. I want to say thank you for that message because it makes wellness coaching all that more special. When you know that you are accomplishing empowerment and motivation. Empowerment and motivation. Almost lost us there. And so I'm very grateful for that because I know that someone has listened. They were very appreciative and said because of Vibe Talk, they are able to find their growth. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what it's all about. Finding your growth. I know that one day doors will revolve. What does that mean? That you will go out of Vibe Talk's doors. But keep in mind, as you go out of Vibe Talk's doors, it's always accessible to you. You're going to grow. You're going to fly your wings. When you get there, it doesn't mean goodbye. It just means I feel like I can fly. And that means you feel like that you can take off. You can go on. I kind of relate it to, not kind of, but I relate it to parents who have raised their children. We know that our children are going to grow up. And personally, it's not our job to stifle them. We know that one day they're not saying goodbye. They are saying, I think I have everything I've needed. Thank you for teaching me. Thank you for helping me to fly. We don't say goodbye. We just say, fly and soar as high as you can, just like that butterfly. So that made my day yesterday. That made my day. And I'm so very grateful, and I want to have more calls like that. I want to have more messages like that. Why? Because that means that Vibe Talk has accomplished the butterfly growth, the lion-like spirit, and strength. What is our Vibe Talk question today, Trish?
It is, what do you know about yourself?
Right here. As you know, I love Fridays. Our podcast is all about this in a nutshell. When we think about this week, Trish, was there anything this week in particular that you learned from? Anything on the podcast? Because you and I are face to face with the podcast. You sit where you are, I sit where I am. We're miles apart. But yeah, we are here together every Friday, every weekday. Is there something that you learned in this podcast this week?
Yes. Something I've learned that really hit me this week is learning that I have to choose me regardless if people, they don't like it, or they're just like, oh, what about me? Because at the end of the day, it comes down to me. And that's something hard for me to do, because I'm always thinking either it's selfish, or it's well, I get guilt tripped, no cap. So, either they guilt trip me or I guilt trip myself. That's possible. So, I learned that, choosing me isn't a bad thing, and it's going to have to be one of the first options I make when I choose something to do, because I don't like it. Then how would I expect myself to deal with that if I don't like it?
Absolutely. Thank you for that. I think with me, with Vibe Talk this week, I learned a lot about overcoming challenges. Looking within myself and knowing that if I speak into myself, if I have a drive or a passion for something, that I can do it. Why? Because what I believe about myself is that I'm strong. It's not enough for other people to tell you. You need to go a step further and believe in yourself. That's what I got out of. You know, we saw some situations where people were dealing with something they either didn't know how to overcome or they overcame ugly parts of their lives. They were challenged. And what the challenges look like is almost defeat. And sometimes that defeat comes upon us in a matter of seconds. See, we don't plan for those, but as we understand ourselves, we know more about how to deal with things. We're going to be talking about knowing and knowledge. Because you see, every week we are faced with something. And some of you have definitely, because we've said it as co-host and host, we have said, that podcast was really powerful. Or, that podcast was very empowering. Let me tell you something. There are no scripts here. We research. We gather from the research what we got out of it. See, that's the important part. You know, our book on feelings, which we're going to get into next week. So if you have not yet found feelings, the book, we're going to be talking about it all next week. I'm excited. When we post, Trish and I, about the podcast and what's going to happen, it's going to whet your appetite. It's going to build in you a drive for something. And when we are talking in these conversations, they are deep. We do not scratch the surface. My desire in here is for you to deep dive within yourself, to get connected to yourself, and to win in all of your challenges. And if you're not winning, I want you to have enough information to know how. Because you see, all of us are in the lion's cage. Unexpectedly, sometimes we throw ourselves in the lion's cage, and sometimes when we're there, we have no clue as to how to get out. And some of us look like giving up. So in order for us to be faced with our challenges, we must know something. And that's what we are talking about. That question in facing our challenges, what do you know about yourself? Is going to require not me, but you to look into you. See, I have the responsibility of looking into myself. I know that I'm determined. I also know that mistakes, I've learned that in Vibe Talk, that when I make a mistake, it is not failure. Because I'm going to get back up. Not only am I going to get back up, I'm going to stand up for the challenge. I'm going to say words like, I accept this challenge. I'm going to raise my hand, and I'm going to cheer you on as you face your challenges. Sometimes in life, we don't get to choose our challenges. They come upon us. Does that make us any less powerful? Well, that question is for you. Have you felt defeated as you face your challenges? You know, we're going to ask this question, and you're going to get to see firsthand either people say what they know about themselves, or they're going to be like a deer is in staring in headlights. And it's going to sound like this. See, when you do that, you present doubt. You can probably tell me 50 things about the person that you love, and you struggle to find one thing about yourself. See, the lion doesn't know that you're struggling when you are not mindset. Did you hear what I said? When you're not mindset. When you're not mindful. They only sense your fear of challenge, but they don't sense your thoughts. See, you have to bring to life, breathe into life your living selves when you are facing challenges. And I'm going to tell you many challenges that people are facing. Can you think of something people might be facing, Trish? Even yourself, that you might have faced this week.
Financial problems.
Yeah, financial problems. This week I've been struggling with a headache. Like almost every morning, I've awakened with a headache. Good morning. Managing overthinking. Thank you so much. And good morning. Where are you listening in from, please, and thank you. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, phone lines are open. USA, thank you. Thank you so much for joining in. This is, by the way, a live podcast. We are on Facebook and Instagram. We're live right now. You're welcome. What do they say? You're so welcome. Trish, what do they say?
They say, thanks for having this kind of talk. It's very refreshing.
You're so welcome. We thank you because with comments like that, you're very refreshing. We hope that you guys get to stay the majority of the podcast. We realize that you all have something to do. But can I make this suggestion for those of you who really like this podcast? If you've got a pair of earphones, headphones, earbuds, whatever you're listening through, take them with you. Or we will make sure that you get to hear this podcast in case you have to leave. We realize so many people do listen, and that's what we want. We don't want to deter you. So if you miss some of it, it's okay. You're here. We welcome everyone here. And every day, we're going to face our challenges together. With me, it's been this headache. You know, I either fight it or flight it. And I don't know why I'm having these headaches. Every morning I've woken up. So I have to find energy to be able to face this headache. Maybe you haven't had a headache. Maybe you've had a headache of just being sick. Of being faced with so many problems. Could be, yeah, thank you for that. Dehydration, thank you for that. I thought about that. But I've had to take Tylenol almost every other morning. I'm feeling better. But now, as I am facing my challenges, what has your challenge been? And we're asking that question to our callers in our audience. In facing challenges, what do you know about yourself? And one of our audience members says, managing overthinking. What do you overthink? What is the one thing that you overthink about? Because that's important to face that. And why? Overthinking your health? Okay. Overthinking your health. So let's say you have a health problem. And I just named a health problem that I've been having. And you have this health problem. Do you wonder why you're having it? Or do you know why you have it? And we only want you to talk if you want to talk. No one is forced here. We only want you to talk if you want to talk. So you say you overthink your health. What are you overthinking as regards your health? And we talked about that this weekend, didn't we? Or this week, Trish? Remember when we said we go to the doctor and we tell the doctor says what's wrong with us? And we go right to the pain. We go right to the problem. Because, see, we don't expect the doctor to find the pain or the problem. That's why he says, or she says, what brings you here today? Why are you here? We don't say, well, I don't know why I'm here, doctor. See, that would make their work much harder. So we have to know. And it says, well, it showed up out of nowhere and they don't know why it's happening. So your health problem. So you're in care for that. Are you? Great. Great. Let me ask you something. Whatever it is, because we only want you to tell us when you're comfortable. And you don't have to tell us at all. Do you know why it's there? Because the doctor can't find it if you don't have knowledge about your symptoms. The doctor cannot find it if you don't know about your symptoms. See, do you tell the doctor where it hurts? Okay. I love it. Very aware of your body. I love that. Thank you so much. Yeah. And yes, that is curable. So what do you know about that thyroid cancer? What do you know about it? I'm familiar with it only because I've talked to people who are facing that. And you know your body. Good morning and thank you, whomever has joined us. By the way, we want to make sure that everybody is here. When you're in this room, we will not ignore anybody. So join in the conversation. I like that you have knowledge about your body because so many people ignore it. Just like this headache. You know, you were talking about the hydration. I was thinking about that earlier this morning. And I feel so much better. It could be sinus. Just knowing. Yeah, it is easy to ignore something. See, when we talk about facing the lions, you all are being challenged with health things. Some serious things. Don't stop your knowledge about it. Just the same as I do. This week I've had to do follow-up on my heart because I had a minor heart attack. And so I have to follow up with that. And I'm doing less stress. I'm doing a lot more self-caring. I spoke with a lady yesterday. Let me tell you, I spoke with a lady yesterday. And she said something that was very key. She said, I have to watch what I eat. See, knowing stuff about ourselves. Because nobody's going to tell us we eat too much. Right? Nobody's going to tell us that. Nobody's going to say, you have a headache. Nobody's going to say, hey, you've got something serious. You better go check it out. We've got to be aware of that, and that's so true. What does our participant say, Trish?
They say, yes, low stress, and yes, self-care, right? And doctors are always learning, so we have to say something.
Good morning, Reaper King. Yes, that's so true. Good morning. What are you thankful for and why? What are you all thankful for and why? Reaper, I'm sorry. Go ahead. We are not talking out to other people because of sensitivity. If you know them, we are not doing that. And why? Because of sensitivity. We're going to treat everybody with respect and respect for their faith, their space. Okay, now I just told you. I just did. Okay. Do you want to stay or do you want to go? I'm going to ask you that question. Because my podcast is all about positivity. I just told you not to. Do you want to stay or do you want to go? Okay. Wants to go. Made that decision. Trish, do you have a button with you or do I need to give you one too?
I have a button.
Okay. Yeah, we don't argue in here. The reason why we don't have people speak out to one another is because even if you know them, this podcast is all about feelings and emotions. And when you are talking to someone else, you're going to distract. So you all just got a taste of what my podcast is all about. And I'm going to be direct and straightforward. I have done a lot to build this podcast. But we are going to talk as a group. It's the same as if you were at school, you would not want to be disruptive. Excuse me. And we're going to always be mindful of other people. This is what we do here. Because there could be somebody in this room, literally, that could be thinking at the drop of the hat that they want to in their life. And if all of us are talking, we're going to miss. I'm going to miss out. Trisha's going to miss out. So we want to give you our undivided attention. And we ask of you all to do that. Not going to be any arguing. Because that's not what we do here. And I thank you guys so much. So let's get back to the conversation. We also know that there's a lot of people that don't want us to tell you what we know. So knowledge. Let's think about knowledge. Many people say, what about knowledge? Knowledge is power. Well, is knowledge power if you don't know how to use it when you're facing your lions, your challenges? What do you all think? Trish, what do you think?
I think knowledge it becomes power with experience, because experience, it teaches us lessons, and then we learn from that, and then when the experience happens, it's our choice to use the knowledge that we learned the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the experience if it happens again, and because it's very common that the experience will happen like a lot of times. So the choice to choose, like, to use the knowledge and be better.
Yes, get better. I want to address our Vibe Talk audience. I understand. They say that it's their first time here. We welcome you. We know you don't know. We know. And for those of you who don't know, you know. And thank you so much. So we're not fussing at the people that don't know. We're fussing at the people that don't care. So thank you for that. We want you to keep coming. Trish, where can they find us as we're talking about knowledge and how we get that knowledge? Where can our guest find us?
You can find us on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
Vibe Talk, and we have a direct text, 661-503-8993, voicemail, text message, and we have a YouTube channel, Vibe-Talk, all that.
Yeah, there's your information right there. So at about 20 minutes or so at the end of the podcast, we ask everybody, you're welcome, sweetie. We ask everybody to go on our channels, our Facebook, because that's where Trish and I are to greet you. We're on this form and live every morning, every weekday morning. And you can listen to the podcast over and over again. How empowering and motivating. For those of you who are first time here, we want to hear back from you. We thirst to hear back from you. We want to know how you felt. That's going to be at the end of the podcast. We're going to ask those questions. So if you have to go or leave, it's okay. It'll be all recorded for you, and you can go to that page and you can say, okay, yesterday I was here, and I'm going to go, or today I was here, and I had to go wherever you're going. We want you to live your life, but we want this to be in your menu when you get up. We want this to be. So knowledge. We say, nice, to listen when they go to work. Yeah, we want you to get our personalities. You're going to laugh. You're going to cry with us. You're going to be impacted and empowered. You're going to get to know Trish and myself personally. And you're going to say, those guys, I really like them. And we want you to be sincere with that. We want you, most of all, to be motivated to do something. What is it that we're asking you to do? To know. See, I ask this question very often in Vibe Talk. How many of you know-it-alls? Everybody? Anybody? Ever met a know-it-all? See, we told you we'll make you laugh. Go ahead, Trish. Know-it-all.
I said I do.
Yeah? And what was that experience like for you?
It's like they think they know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
But they don't.
Yeah.
Like, they keep going. They make you feel like, I know everything, you know nothing, so let me talk the entire time.
Yeah. And yes, it's demeaning. Yeah, they somehow are trying to demean you. And you know what they do? Here's a human behavior. Talking, thank you for that, Trish. The demeaning part of that is they're elevating themselves, so they might not know. But the purpose of them trying to be a know-it-all, get connected with that if you're know-it-alls out there. I'm going to be very direct with you today. If you are the know-it-all and people say, you think you know everything. See, because when a person thinks they know everything, the conversation is boring. How many of you have found it boring because they know everything? Anybody in here?
I agree. It's a very one-sided conversation.
Yeah. And so our audience says, yeah. Don't you? No connection, right? Yeah, no connection. Keep your conversations coming, ladies and gentlemen, because it is Vibe Talk and we talk about our conversation, what the subject is. Thank you so much. So no connection. They talk over your head. Everything they have an answer for. Don't be that person. Many people tell me that I am knowledgeable. But can I tell you something? I long for knowledge. And in this work that I do, the life coach, wellness coach, I search. I don't know everything, guys. How about that? What does our guest say? Because that's very true.
Maybe they're just full of fear, those people.
Yeah. Yes. Because the person that I was thinking about that thinks they know everything in my life, they are. And I always say that's insecure. Has something to do with fear. And thank you for naming that emotion. See, that's knowledge too. We've got to get knowledge. And the kind of knowledge that makes you aware. You ever ask yourself, why is that person like that? And there's probably people in their life that have been afraid to tell them that they think they know everything. See, I'm not a person that says, oh, I know everything. But we have natural discussions here. But I'm going to tell you everything that we talk about is from experience. There are no scripts in Vibe Talk. When you come together and impart knowledge to one another, don't you find that knowledge is learning when you can gather information and you say, wow, I really learned from that? How many of you think that? Yeah. You're gathering information from learned experience. Because a lot of people say, knowledge is power. You hear that all the time. But can knowledge be power if you're not using it? Or if you don't know how to use it, right? Because some of us don't know. We started talking about the physical body. And I love that our audience has said, our audience member has said, to know about their bodies. You don't want to find out that you have cancer and, the doctor says, well, your cancer, it's terminal, or the cancer is limiting your life. You want to know much about that cancer so that you can thrive in life. You can live your best life, right? And so if you use your knowledge, then it becomes powerful. Powerful knowledge is not knowing everything. People get that twisted all the time. You sound, when you think you know everything, can I tell you what you sound like? It sounds like ignorance. Because see, you're not willing to learn. Knowledge is gathered information. You take that information and you ask yourself, what can I learn from it? How does this apply in my life? See, you audience members, my co-hosts, I learn from you guys. You think I'm here to impact you? I learn from you. See, my weekend will continue to think about you and the things that you said. So when people say, hey, how did the podcast go? I say I learned from my audience members. I learned from the callers. And our audience member says, yes, learning every detail and how to fight it. See, that's where the lion in you comes in. It's strength to know. When you appear to know everything, you're right, audience member, it is about fear and insecurity. So instead of people saying, and I had this person say this to me, they said about that person, they know everything. I said, really? And you know what I asked them? How did you feel about that? Oh, they make me feel what? Like I don't know anything. See, a knowledgeable person does not use their power like that. I want to know what you know, and that's why I asked the question today, what do you know about yourself? Getting connected with yourself. How many of you feel that you need to be more connected to yourself on the emotional side? Even in our... Go ahead, Trish. Go ahead.
I said I do.
Yeah, I do. Absolutely. Our member says, yeah, knowing about yourself. Don't we, when we see kids crying, we ask them, what's wrong? We say, what's the matter? Right? Our instincts kick in. We don't even have to know the person. If we were to walk past a person and we see them in distress, we say, what's the matter? See, we want to know how we can help them, how we can assist them. We need to start asking ourselves and facing lions, what's the matter? Our member has said what, Trish? Audience member said what?
They said I have a problem being in the moment.
So does that, go ahead, Trish. What were you going to say?
I was gonna say, I was gonna ask someone what that means because I was gonna say I can relate to that.
Mm-hmm.
Like my relation is like if it's a serious moment,
Mm-hmm.
I always crack a joke,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like read the room. Nobody's laughing right now. What are you doing? So that's me.
Thank you for that honesty. LOL, they say. So, yeah, that was what I was going to ask too. Thank you for asking that leading question, Trish. So when you say you have a problem being in the moment, what do you mean? Tell us what you mean, if you care to talk about it. By the way, no one's forced to talk, but that's why it's live and interactive. We want you to be able to connect with yourself. Trish just explained her being in the moment. Just worrying and working on mindfulness. Okay. So mindful is paying attention. You know, oftentimes if you'll notice, Trish, I don't know if you've noticed this, but when we do our Vibe Talk question, did you notice that the question is always nearest the lion's brain? Have you noticed that?
No, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, go back and look at every question that we've ever done. It's always by the lion's brain. Mindfulness comes from your thought process. Think about yourself. Let's try to do an exercise right now. And the exercise is going to be at your favorite place. So if you're not too busy, I want you to close your eyes for just a second. And this is how you are in the present moment. Now, in your mind's eye, as you think, I want you to breathe out and breathe in. Breathe in and breathe out. That's exhaling. Let's do that to calm our heart just for a second. Keep your eyes closed for just a moment. Now, in your mind's eye, I want you to find the place that you want to be that makes you feel at peace. Right now, my place is the beach. I hear the waves crashing. Don't open your eyes. Now, I want you to work on focusing your breathing. Breathe in and out. Inhale and exhale. I'm at the beach. I see the waves. I hear the sound. I feel the power in sound and in sight. I'm there. I'm connected. Inhale and exhale. Open your eyes. Now I want to ask you, to our audience member, when I ask you to close your eyes, where were you? And Trish, I'm going to ask you the same question. The forest by your house. Were you in that moment when we were doing the inhale, exhale? The forest. Did you feel like you were in the moment when you did that exercise? Trish, where were you?
I was sitting by the oak tree back at my old house.
Okay. Go ahead.
And I could feel the breeze, and I could hear the birds. Sun is like directly in the middle of the yard. It gives the oak tree the perfect shade.
Yeah. You understand how mindfulness works? Your brain is focused on what I ask you. Be somewhere that is your peace. Your peace. You know, a lot of people zone out. I used to do that because I didn't want to be in the moment. I wanted to not be there. So I would just zone out. I learned through life that wasn't a good thing as I started talking about what was going on internally with me. See, we do that to ourselves. We vacate in our mind instead of getting connected as to why we're feeling that way. Now, our audience member said, the forest. When you were in the forest, what did you think of? Let me show you how staying in the moment can help you. What were you thinking of in the forest? See, I was at the beach. So in my mind, I could see, I could hear. I was aware of everything that was going around. And I even thought about the fish. The beautiful things in the ocean. Getting connected. What is that name, Trish? Good morning. I have no glasses. I don't know where my glasses are. Is it Neverich? Trish, do you see it?
I think it's Neverich.
Or Never Rose? Or Never Rage? Can you tell us, please? Good morning. We want to say to you, it is Friday, top of the morning, and we are facing challenges. My question is, in facing challenges, what do you know about yourself is the question. So going back to our other audience member, you said you were in the forest. When you were in the forest, what were you focusing on? What were you focusing on? Because we're no doubt all going to be in different places. We do that exercise to gain connection. That's how you know that you are connecting to yourself. See, you could be by the forest, but now are you really deep thinking? Are you putting yourself there? You use an animal, okay. And what, okay. So you saw the owl in your visual. See, we have to focus on something. That is a challenge to many of us because we've got so much going on and our heart raises and we're in chaos. But now you have to take yourself to a place to gain yourself back, regaining yourself. How many of you want to regain yourself, even though life will present challenges? Yeah. They say if they don't have a point in that a point in that place, it's hard to focus. Yeah, because you got so much going on. But you know what that tells me? And it should tell you, when you can't focus, you've got too much going on. You've got too much, so you have to stay tuned to yourself. Stay in tune, regaining and reflection. And that's what we call it in here, reflecting. If we do that, ladies and gentlemen, for 5 minutes every day, because you know what my life is like? It's getting up. I gotta get things done. But I also need a day to self-care. Maybe I want the latest lotion. Maybe I want the latest movie. Am I finding the time, despite the challenges that look like chaos, and reflecting on that? Because when I do that, my heart is going to be calm. Or does your life look so chaotic that you say, I don't have time to self-care? I'm fortunate if I can get in the shower and wash my hair. I don't have time for me. See, we could have time for everything else, but not ourselves. I'm asking you, please, take 5. There's a candy bar, which I happen to like. It is called Take 5. It's not even going to take you that long to eat it. But even the candy industry knows that we need to take a break. How many of you have needed to take a break? Anybody in here?
I have.
Yeah. See, those are the things that we think. If we take a break, that means that I'm not going to get this done. 5 minutes out of a 24-hour period. Why is that so hard? Our audience member says that, same here, I have to schedule an actual day. See, Vibe Talk runs when I'm off the air. It can run 24/7 if I want. So I got together with my co-host Trish and I said this. I'm only going to schedule appointments for Wednesday and Thursday. Because you see, outside of Vibe Talk, I have other things I am obligated to. And in that 24-hour period, I need to rest. So I need a day to be able to say, this is going to be my time. I'm going to go get my favorite food. I'm going to watch a favorite movie. Or I'm just going to simply get in the shower or take a bath. Why? Because I need a break. What does our audience say?
They say, yes, creating boundaries for yourself. Love that.
Yeah. You see, the reason why I was zoning out, I found out at a much later time. I was stressed and tired. I said in my own brain, I can't deal with this. But you know, I never could put a face on it. Until one day I was talking to my counselor and she said, you need to take a break. You're tired. You see, it's going back to the doctor and the doctor starts telling you where it hurts. Doctor said, well, why do you do this? I don't know. I came to the doctor for the doctor to tell me that because I was doing that a lot. Just zoning out. I'm tired. My body can't deal with it. But I didn't know what was wrong. I faced my lion. Because it's okay to be tired. Please understand this about yourself. It is not a sign of weakness. When you are sleepy, what do? Instantaneously. What do you do when you're sleepy? Anybody? What do you do, Trish, when you go to sleep? Trish, are you here?
I'm here.
What do you all do when you are sleepy?
Breathe.
Okay. That requires it always. Because if you're not breathing, you're dead. What do you do when you're sleepy? Do you need anybody to tell you that you're sleepy?
No.
You go to sleep. Doesn't require us to think. When we're sleepy, we fall asleep. We put our bodies to bed. When we fight that sleep, we go into a breakdown of mind. Now, some of us are sleepy at work, sleepy while we're driving. I don't suggest you do that. Good morning, Corvius. Good morning, or Corvus. Good morning. So I want you guys to, when you're facing your challenges, to be able to know how to pace yourself, because you're going to need that. Understanding the lion focuses on your reaction to things. And if you're not careful and you're caught off guard, it will overwhelm you and overpower you. Lions are challenges that we face. We must have lion-like attitudes, lion-like mentalities. Lions are beautiful. When the lion sleeps, have you ever saw a sleeping lion? Anybody ever saw a lion actually really sleep? If you've ever been to your zoos, anybody in here, you ever saw a lion really sleep? You are not without hope. Grab a video. That lion sleeps, but that lion is not unaware. Because I'll bet you this, if you climb in that lion's cage and he's sleeping, he's going to hear you. Our problems, ladies and gentlemen, never go away. So what are you going to do about it? You're so welcome. I love when people show appreciation. And I feel you. No worries. Be safe. Be safe. And it'll be here for you. Just follow that link on Facebook. We ask you guys to follow because I have people that say, when are you guys on? And it's like, okay, all that information is on Facebook. We have Instagram too. But it will be live recorded. Have a great day. And don't forget, face your lions. You are lion-like. Have a great weekend, okay? Aurora, nice to meet you. I love it. Thank you, Aurora. Such a beautiful name. Beautiful name. Have a good day. And we want to hear from you. We're here every day. Give us feedback. Interact, please, with the podcast. Please interact, guys. Because it's going to help you. So our lion problems never sleep, but we do. Our body instantaneously, when we're tired, we have certain times when we go to bed. My time to sleep is 9:30 here in California, even a little earlier. I'm tired, my body shuts down. Do you know yourself? Do you know that? Just what time is your bedtime? And we understand we're in different time zones here.
I try to go to bed around like 9:30.
Okay. So your 9:30 is 3 hours back from my time. 6:30? About that time. And now, when it's 9:30 here, you're already ahead. We all have boundaries. Do that for yourself. Some of us have fallen asleep, and we've fallen asleep to reality, not facing. We become sleepy, not able to envision, not able to focus, and we're living like that every day. How many of you have ever been in that state of mind?
I have.
Yeah. Some of us have been mindlessly sleeping. You know, Vibe Talk has the ability to be able to help you to be awakened. Awakened to what? To you. It's like this. You'll say, Miss Nisi, I'm tired. I'll ask you, what is it that you're tired of? I'm tired of life. I'm tired of being this way. I'm tired of this happening. I'm tired of the drama, and thus and so forth. And then I start to probe, and I'll ask you certain questions because you're going to tell me where it hurts. And even then, I'm going to ask you, now that you have talked with me and you found out where things are hurt or where things bother you, whatever it is, you have the responsibility to awaken yourself from whatever it is that is ailing you, bothering you. You must know. You must know, because if you don't know, you have not been awakened to awareness about it. So you've got to research yourself. Go ahead, Trish.
I'm the kind of person, I don't know how to say I'm tired of something.
Mm-hmm.
That's me. And it's like, since we're talking about sleep, so when I'm sleepy, I'm a delusional speaker. So I'm a rambler when I'm tired. Like, I don't know what I'm talking about. So that's me. And in a situation, metaphorically, I'm getting tired of it. But I'll just keep talking and talking and talking, and I don't say, I need to stop this. I'm tired of the situation. I need to go to sleep, or this needs to stop. Like, I'm working on it though, but it's like hard for me to just like put it at a pause, because boundaries is very hard for me to build as a person. I feel like my guard is very hostile. I have my guard up.
When you say hostile, what do you mean? Your guard is hostile.
I mean, it's very, what do I say? Like, shielded. Like, if I'm tired of something and I have my guard up, it'll come off aggressive, I think. It'll come off aggressive.
Okay. So how do you work that into your knowing your boundary? Because if there was a lion out there, how quick would you be to protect yourself from that lion that's coming towards you? Would you take needed action?
Yes.
Quickly. You would do anything in your power to set the boundary between you and that lion, because lions are quick. And those lions that come in our life mean that we must do something about it. We must find our strength. We must find our boundaries between us and our challenges. See, we must know, we must be aware, because nobody has to tell us. You know, when I was a kid, my mother, and we're talking about sleep, guys, and we're talking about it metaphorically and in reality, sleep does not always mean we put it out of existence. It means, and Trish said it means to pause it. We talked about pausing in a way of when we need sleep, we recognize that we give it a rest. When we're sleepy, our body is shutting down. You don't need a doctor for that. You put it on pause. And you're right, Trish. There's a lot of people, yourself, I don't want you to think that that's something that you're alone in. I have a friend that does not know how to rest. I used to be that way until I had a serious emotional breakdown. So my body said, oh, nope, I can't do this anymore. Literally. So now what I've done is pay attention. The lion focuses. Just like you did in the oak tree, you were paying attention. You were aware of what was going on. By the way, when you were in at that oak tree where you used to live, what were you looking at? Do you recall?
I was looking at the honeysuckle bush that used to be by my dad's car.
Yeah, paying attention. So it requires us to have enough knowledge to pay attention. Because, like I said, when I was little, or like I started to say, my bedtime was 8:30. I wouldn't put myself to bed. The voice of my mother sounded like this. It's 8:30, time to hit the hay. I asked her one day, what does that mean? To hit the hay. Because I would see the clock. I would see that clock. And I knew in 5 minutes I had to go to bed. If I had 5 minutes left. And I wait till my mother would say that. I wouldn't put myself to bed because I'm a kid. What do I know? I'd stay up all night until I fell asleep. So mom and dad have to tell us at that age. But now we are responsible for ourselves. When do we sleep? I have a older son. I have 2 kids that are young adults. My oldest son, I worry about him because he has graveyard shift. And the graveyard shift comes home, he sleeps a little bit, works in the daytime, and has to drive across the freeway in the daytime. I ask him, when do you sleep? Ladies and gentlemen, pull your chair up. Wherever you are, come closer. The body needs rest. Because one day, like I tell my son, your body is going to shut off. Either you're going to have something massive happen to you, or you're going to fall asleep, or you're going to have some kind of heart attack. But the body is going to respond to your lack of. So metaphorically, when you think about you're not responding to the need for rest, something is bound to happen. Your body responds. Even if you have 5 minutes, take it out of your day. You've got 24 hours in a day. What are you going to lose by taking 5 minutes? Some people take power naps. And I'm all for those people who take those power naps because sometimes that's all that's needed. Give yourself that. If a candy company recognizes, take 5. How much more so should you and your human mindfulness say, take 5? 5 minutes does a body good. Because lack of thereof has caused people great, disastrous changes when they dismissed it. I had to learn that, ladies and gentlemen, in knowing myself. You know, I've always wanted to be Wonder Woman when I was a kid. I tell you guys that all the time. But to know me is to love myself and recognizing that just because I needed rest, just because my mind needed rest, did not mean I was failed or I was going to miss something. You ever had a kid and you know that kid is sleeping and they fight their sleep because they think they're going to miss something? And then they start nodding off. And you want to put them to bed and they're, I'm not sleepy. My grandson does that. And that's exactly what's wrong. He's sleepy. Fights it. I want you to be lion-like in the other way. When you notice it, take 5. Doesn't mean you have to go to sleep. No, it means your body is saying, please rest me. It's okay to give yourself permission to rest, but still be aware. Trish, were you going to say something?
I was going to say that's how us as kids trying to see Santa Claus.
What was that?
We didn't want to trying to see Santa Claus.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't want to go to sleep. And then our parents were like, hey, y'all need to go to sleep. Santa's not going to come if you don't go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun, but hey, I still fell asleep. Never saw Santa Claus, so.
Yeah, rest yourself. The lion sleeps. I saw sleeping lions, literally. Because the lion needs rest. Doesn't mean that he's void of strength. He needs to rest. That in itself will rejuvenate strength. We're going back about knowledge. Wavy, thank you so much for joining us. What are you thankful for? And why? And our Vibe Talk question is what, Trish?
In facing your challenges, what do you know about yourself?
Yeah, what do you know about yourself when you face your challenges? We've all got challenges. We've all had them this week. We've all had them just as recent as this very morning. So when you face your challenges, Wavy, what do you know about yourself when you face your challenges? That's our question. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, even when we're off air, we're going to be asking this question. You can find us on Facebook. Vibe-Talk. If you don't see a lion, it's not us. You give up easily sometime? Thank you for that honesty. And what is something that you know about yourself that you're giving up on? Or you just get nervous? You get nervous. What are you giving up easily? And what are you getting nervous about? Thank you guys for interacting with this interactive podcast. We love you and we love you to talk to us. What do you get nervous about? And what do you give up on easily? That's another thing. You honestly don't know what makes you nervous. See, this is about connecting with ourselves. You know, people say knowledge is power, but if you don't know, how can knowledge be powerful? So you get nervous. When I ask you what you get nervous about, what's the first thing to come to your mind? What do you get nervous about? See, that's another way people are faced with challenges, getting nervous. Trish, you ever been nervous?
lot.
Yeah. What was something that you were nervous about?
Going inside my appointment by myself.
Yeah. I was nervous about this podcast when I first started doing life coaching. I was very nervous about this podcast. Wasn't sure about the response. So we have something in common. And Wavy says could be multiple things like school or work. So work makes you nervous. What about work makes you nervous? And you're still in school. Are you in college or high school or what? See, we're wanting people to college. Yeah, I remember when I was in college. Trish, you're getting ready to start college classes. You feel nervous?
Yes, I just said I'm so nervous.
Yeah. When I went through my college training for child development and teaching, I was nervous. Well, I got the hang of it. And after I went, it was easy to slide into. But yes, that was a challenge for me. Nervous about whether it would pass or not. Look how far you've come, Wavy. You at first said you didn't know. Look what you know about yourself. That's part of your connection to you. Knowing something. Now you know that you're nervous about school or work. Your job. What makes you feel nervous about your job? Thank you for that. See, we don't want you guys to limit yourself. We want you to have lion-like strength. And when you know you're going to pay attention to it, you're either going to improve it, move to action, and you're going to grow from those experiences. A lot of things make me nervous. Whether or not you're going to get the job or not. So are you working right now? You working right now? Working and going to school? That question was for Wavy. No, you say, but you're trying to work. Okay. And give yourself effort for trying. Going for job interviews have made me nervous. Working on a job, at a job, make me nervous. When I became a teacher, I'll never forget I started substituting. And the very first day I was so nervous. Wasn't a good day for me. Ran out of gas. This was my first day. Had to go and buy the green stuff in your car. I forgot what you call it. Had to put that in my car. But you know what? I overcame that nervousness. And while I was late to work, I showed up. This happened on the first day of my teaching job. Imagine that. Commonality. What did I learn from that? Not to give up because I was nervous. Not to give up. That's what being nervous taught me because I showed up. And I was so nervous. I will never forget that very first day of work. So what am I trying to tell you? That you can accomplish it. You can still show up. I wonder if lions ever get nervous. I suppose some. But they still show up. Good morning. So what can you learn about being nervous? That being nervous is a challenge. When you know that about yourself, face that. Show up. No matter what's happening, show up. I was so nervous that day, but now I look back. Look at how far I've come. I'm so grateful. Seth, hey! So nice to see you, Seth. Seth, where are you? Where are you listening in from, baby? I always know and I forget. We're my co-host and I were live on Facebook as well. This is being recorded. Trish, do you want to ask Seth the question?
Hi, Seth. Nice to see you. The question is, in facing challenges, what do you know about yourself?
When you are faced with challenges, maybe you were faced with something this week, Seth. What do you know about yourself in facing that challenge? He said, good day. What do you know about yourself? Seth, thank you for joining us. So glad to see you. That's what I love about this Vibe Talk, because you guys, you will show up. Sometimes because of schedule, you show up and I don't see you for a while and you guys come back. And I love that. Don't you, Trish?
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. What, Seth, are you? What does he say? Not yet. He haven't said anything. What are you? Trish, as you see it, you want to read it, please? We have our weekly schedule for you all. It's always going to be posted to Facebook. We want you to know our schedule. Trish, you want to go ahead and read what he said? Thank you for that, Seth.
He says, in facing a challenge, I overcome doubt and nervousness.
Yeah, we were just talking about nervousness. Now let's talk about doubt. Challenging yourself and doubting something. What is doubt? When you don't believe something. How many of you don't believe in yourselves? Anybody? Anybody here don't believe in themselves? I once was not a believer in myself. Anybody else out there not a believer in yourself? Anybody? Anybody ever expressed or felt that they doubted themselves?
Sometimes.
What did you doubt yourself about?
My music.
Yeah. I doubted myself about a podcast because, number one, I didn't know what a podcast was. And number two, somebody has always said to me, Nisi, you should write a book. Like, yeah, sure, nobody's going to read it. Here I am. I'm so thankful for this podcast because I doubted that anyone would listen to this podcast. I didn't know what I was doing the very first day of the podcast. I doubted myself and I wondered, is anybody even interested enough to listen? Look at all the doubt. And that doubt was coupled with much fear. See, doubt comes from fearing within yourself. You have placed a bet on yourself that you couldn't be challenged. Why? Because you didn't believe in yourself. Like me, I too had doubts. And now every day, when I come to the Vibe Talk, somebody's always here. See, I'm not a person that is worried about power, having power. I'm a person that wants to impact. See, there's a difference of being impactful and being powerful. When you can impact somebody to come and help themselves, you've done something great. You've done something challenging. Remember, I said the doubt that we face. Knowing that about myself, knowing that I doubted anyone would listen to the podcast because I didn't know how it worked. People are coming every day. Even if we have a little crowd. Less is more to me. Always remember that. Go ahead, Trish.
I thought the same thing from my music.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna delete all my music, no cap. And then my mom, she was like, "Don't do that. If you do that, I'm gonna call your father."
I'll be right back. Please introduce and ask the question. I'll be right back.
Good morning, Rabbit. Our question of the day is, in facing challenges, what do you know about yourself? That's our question of the day. And what state are you listening in from, please? I can relate to that. That's very relatable. Thank you.
Things happen when we are live. Yes, again. Rabbit, thank you so much. Rabbit, facing the challenges of being ashamed of your past. I want to tell you something, Rabbit. You are not your past. Can you hear me? You are not your past. I want you to know that as you know that about yourself. Whatever you have been through in your past is a lessons of life and life's experience. Did you know that we all have had past experiences? Some not so good ones. How many of you know that about yourself, that you've had some not so good past experiences?
I do.
Yeah. I remember one time I flunked 2 math classes. Go ahead and laugh. 2. When I look back, I was ashamed of that. It gets deeper. That was a challenge then. See, I don't know everything about math. I flunked 2 math classes. Go ahead and laugh. But now, nobody knows me to say, you see Nisi over there? One time she flunked 2 math classes. I know that. What did I learn from that? I can't know everything. You want to hear the irony of it? I became a teacher. I became an educator. What did it teach me? I'm still useful. You are still useful. You are still useful. You can still impact people. See, by me telling you that, don't be shocked. I'm on podcast. I wasn't so dumb after all, because I took that as a lesson to say one time I wasn't good at something. You see how that works, Rabbit? Trish, how do you understand that?
I understand that. I flunked 7th grade, so I can't laugh at you. So.
Yeah.
But I felt very bad when I did.
Mm-hmm.
But the second time, I had all A's. I said, no, this is not happening ever again.
Mm-hmm.
And that taught me that I can try again. And that I wasn't it wasn't the fact that I was like stupid,
Mm-hmm.
but it was the fact that I wasn't getting it at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We all have had past. In facing our lions with our past, let it be life's lessons for you. What do you learn from it? What are you learning from yourself? You know, we thrive for knowledge. We thirst for knowledge. We pick up books. We look at podcasts. We may have even some experience of podcasts of our own. But you do that because you are thirsting for knowing something. Knowledge. When we think about knowledge, the true definition of knowledge is not power. In fact, it's informative. It lives through experience. It educates us. It helps us to understand information. The collection of information about something creates understanding. When we understand something, we become skilled. We accomplish, and we are capable. We become well-versed about it. We become intelligent. We are aware of it. We gain familiarity about it. You hear us do a lot of lion talk in here. I know a thing or two about lions, and that's why I can proudly call this Vibe Talk Facing Our Lions. We experience, by knowledge gained, facts, circumstances. Please understand that. Seth, are you still there? Our knowledge challenges us. It makes us conscious. We start realizing, thank you so much for the hearts. We start in our cognitive mindfulness to be aware. It creates in us perception, appreciation for the things that we now know. See, a lot of us do not know ourselves. We will take a stance and know somebody better than we know ourselves. You ever saw a person who knows something about a celebrity, their favorite celebrity? They can tell you everything. They can go on for hours. But I want you to become consciously aware of yourself. Become familiar with yourself so that the next time someone asks you this question, what do you know about yourself? You can reply, let me tell you a thing or two. See, your knowledge is based on experience. You know, a lot of us are from varied backgrounds. Some of us like the same things, while others of us are still searching. That is not a sign of weakness. Remember that knowledge is information. What do we gather from information? We gather wisdom. If you've ever collect a recipe and you wanted to cook something and you've never tried it before, you're going to put yourself in the line to get to know that recipe. Why? Because you see the picture, you see the visual of it, or someone has made it and it looks great. But you gain more knowledge because you've tasted it. You've experienced it, and your experience says, you know, I've had that before. If I like something, I always say, I've had it. Good morning, is it Haru? Good morning. So here's what life's recipe is. You see the picture, you gain insight, the picture becomes alive in your mind. And then you taste it. Maybe the first time of you making that recipe didn't come out so great. I remember the first time I ever made a cake. That cake was so lopsided. I was challenged with that. I like cake, but I used it as my experience. I can tell you that I made a lopsided cake. It tastes good, but I had to know some information. You know, my mother used to really make cakes when I was a little girl. I remember that. And she used to always say, shh, don't run in the kitchen or the cake's gonna fall. I didn't know what that meant. All I knew was when she was baking that cake, that's what she used to say. So I experienced that. Oh, that's what she means. Right? So I took that information. And when I was a little girl, I got to experience some of the best cakes. My mother has a cake that I love right now. And I told my mom, Mom, something ever happens to you, I'm going to need that recipe. It's a chocolate chip cake. Everybody loves that cake. I need to gather enough information from my mom to make that cake. When we are challenged with things, it is like that in life. Okay, it may not, the cake may not come out pretty, but you've experienced it. And when you redo it again, it's going to come out better the next time, each time you do it. Trish, did you want to say something?
I was going to say, I tried to cook chocolate chip cookies.
You tried to bake some? And what happened?
Yep. My mom was like, let me help you. I said, no, I got it. I can do this. I said, this should be easy, right? Mm-hmm. And then they came out very flat and stuck to the pan and burnt. And my mom said, I was trying to help you. I was trying to tell you, you're not supposed to do it like that. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, okay, next time I'll ask you for help. Because I wanted to do it myself. I'm stubborn like that. I want to do everything myself before I ask for help. But asking for help gives you knowledge. It really does. It will help you out. And the next time, then you can do it yourself. And then you become proud that, hey, I finally did it by myself on my own this time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so true. Thank you for that. So life can be like that, even in our cooking, in our health, our fears, our doubts. You have to visualize when you are facing your lions how to master it. Even if it's something that you're going to be faced with every day, know that you can only take so much. If you are a strong lion, even the strongest of the lions need rest. Trust me. We want you today. to be able to face your lions. Good morning, Illy, good morning. And Trish, what is your question of the day?
In facing challenges, what do you know about yourself?
What do you know about yourself, Illy? We want to say hello to everybody. Please understand that knowledge is only power when you use it in the right way. Your knowledge helps you to gain wisdom in facing whatever challenge. We talked about a lot of metaphoric things in today's Facing the Lions. It is my favorite part. I'll tell you something. All of you have lion-like strengths, some of which you're not even aware of. And that's why I ask you, where does it hurt? We've talked about doubt. We've talked about being aware of our physical. We've talked about sleep. Some of us are asleep. We talked about boundaries today. I'm so very grateful that you joined me. And I say Friday to all of you because your strength is you have made it. I'll leave it to Trish's Treasures to say this. There was a famous quote line. Your power lies within you. Trish, going to Treasure's thoughts. What question do you have for us today, and what cities we're in here today?
The question is, whoa, hold on, I'm trying to think about it. Our question is, what have you learned or discovered about yourself today? And what was your experience like here? And states today, we had Connecticut, Michigan, Palmdale, California, and South Carolina.
Okay. Would you kindly put the states that we're here in our comments to and thank them? Because that's something I really want to start doing. Thank you, Trish. I'll start with me while Trish is doing that. And Trish, I want to thank you for being here and being such a wonderful co-host. Thank you. I had a small break I needed to take for a second, and Trish did a great job, didn't she, guys, of holding it down. I heard her. Thank you for doing that. My experience here today was full of empowerment. Because you see, since power lies within me, I want to know how to grow from that empowering. While I empower myself, I want to empower others. And I discovered that knowledge comes with being wise. Wisdom is not knowing everything. Wisdom is the gaining of the knowledge that you're going to grow from. Understand that. Please understand that. That's what I learned today. Trish, my question is to you. What did you learn about yourself, and what did you discover? And what was your experience?
Today, I learned that I am knowledgeable, and knowledge is understanding more so, and wisdom is And when I use what I learn, I become more powerful. And my experience here today was knowledgeable. It made me very aware of myself and aware of when I need peace and if my mind is like at peace with being in the moment.
And I think we all need to do that. That's why I want to exercise that, because all of us, we need to rest sometime, because every day we're fighting with this land, and we are challenging ourselves every day. People are getting new jobs. People have lost people in death. People are sick. We are so drowned in challenging ourselves. But at the same voice, we need to take care of ourselves. That, for me, is something that I fight against. Taking care of myself. I can take care of everybody else, but I need to take care of myself. I need to not zone out to the challenges, but say, this challenge is going to teach me something. We want to thank everybody for joining in our conversations. We want to thank everybody who came this week. Thank you, thank you. We want to thank all of the people that either liked our reels. I don't have anybody offhand right now. We want to thank you for loving Vibe Talk. We want to thank you for being refreshing, because we're asking you to find your power within yourself. Vibe Talk is direct connect. Vibe Talk is available through voicemail and texting. Vibe Talk is visibly on your social medias. We want to hear how you feel. Thank you, everybody, for finding something to be thankful for. We are outreaching to all of you virtually. That's why we hashtag your cities and your states, your continent, your lands, your islands, because we know that we have impacted 1, 10, hundreds of people. We're so very grateful, Tricia and I. I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I want to give you the know-how to face your lions. That's what we're all about. Trish, do you have anything you want to add?
Just learn to pay attention. Don't miss the lesson in your struggle. Knowledge will make you stronger, and it will make you wiser.
Thank you so much. For those of you who think you know it all, stay tuned. You'll learn a lot about yourself. Thanks, everybody. I wish you to face your lions, your challenges. I wish you to know something about yourself. Pass your knowledge on. For in your knowledge, you will be labeled with wisdom and intelligence. You will be able to impact others by what you do know. Empower others with your wisdom and what you know of your knowledge. Pass it on. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day, everybody, and a beautiful weekend. I wish you more facing your lions.
Facing the lion is always positive. And so I ask you today, as we are going to be facing our lions or challenges of the week, what did you face this
Have a great weekend, everybody.